Talk about your wheel. I'm interested about I don't know because you said it was customized, right? So
Yeah.
I'm interested to learn more about that, and also probably I don't know. I guess we can go off from there and
Okay.
like go into deep rabbit hole, I guess. But is
Deep
that fine
dark
with you,
rabbit
or
hole.
are you okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. All right, so we're back here with SRT Warriors.
What's up, everyone?
And tonight we're going to be off the cuff per usual. And yeah, let's just dive right in. So I recently purchased a custom steering wheel. I'm going to have to pull up my Instagram real quick here. Let's see. Instagrams. I got to log in. Fun. Cool. All right. So I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Like
Skrillex?
Is it that? Yeah. Kirilzi.
Yeah, it's like a derivative of Skrillex.
Krills.
Krills. Yeah.
Super nice guy. I'd seen some of his stuff, his page, just so everyone knows. It's at KIRILL.Z. So I had gone to this dude's page, and I'm going to pull it up right now because we can talk about all the stuff he has. He's got a Huracan LP 610, and the carbon fiber on this car is just ridiculous. And I've seen him post some wheels that he made, and I think he's with Charisma Design or something. And it just seemed like a super nice guy. So I had reached out to him a long time ago, long time being like 6 months. And I was like, hey, could you do like a custom carbon fiber weave? And apparently he ended up trying to make these special patterns that I found, and only a couple of them worked out. But so I kind of let that go because I was going to do that for the Durango, and I ended up getting the GT4. And I reached out to him, and I was like, could I potentially ask you to make me a steering wheel? And he said he had one available that had just come off of either a GT4 or, he had just finished making one. So he sent me a picture of it, and I mean, the leather matched, the stitching matched, and it was perforated leather, which is nice because an Alcantara steering wheel, like my steering wheel was already getting kind of, I wouldn't say it was like getting bad because all it had to do was be cleaned. So I ended up I was like, screw it. Yeah, let's do it. That thing's sick. So I ended up picking that up. I don't know if it's forged carbon. What is the look? What do I have?
It looks like forged carbon, equivalent to what the Lamborghini Huracan has, the Performante spoiler, like similar to that feature, almost with that material. But you said that he designed it. Now, did he have it fabricated in-house, or did he like assign someone outside of wherever he is to fabricate it or make it?
He actually, I believe he made it by hand.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so it's a handmade steering wheel. The stitching is really nice.
Does it have his signature somewhere? Identify that it says?
I should ask.
Yeah. That would be a cool feature.
Yeah. But yeah, he's got stuff on here for Porsches, Lamborghinis, The steering wheel's nice because it's cut straight on the bottom. So he took the stock round wheel and he just made it really, I think, tight to the bottom or somehow pushed it in. So the stock Porsche steering wheel is round, and he makes the bottom of his flat, which is nice because the seat doesn't really have much movement to it. So I'm stuck, like, with a wheel between my legs pretty much. But again, super nice guy. Had the thing shipped out next day, and I got it on Saturday. So I talked to him, I think, on Thursday, and I had it Saturday. Installation was super simple, too. But he said, like, Lamborghinis and stuff are really hard to do.
Yeah, those damn Italians.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But his Lamborghini is just nuts.
Yeah, I think I came across his IG page at one point because of I think he lives in New York too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think a couple of the people I follow also follow him. And yeah, I saw his black Huracan and it looks pretty cool. It has that sleek stealth fighter look, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he makes stuff for SRTs too. I mean, he doesn't hate, like, he sent me some pictures of like Mopar style steering wheel, and like they're unreal.
Huh. Now I'm interested to know if there are templates available online of steering wheels, or he just has like a source of like people who own these cars and he just does some measurements or whatever. It's like how does he know the size of the steering wheel, what it has to be proportional to what the original design of the car was before the modification began.
So to me, it seems like he gets a steering wheel that kind of fits the car. So let's say you have a GTR or let's say you have a car. He would source a new steering wheel, like a blank, or he would find one from somewhere else, tear it down.
I see.
Build that up into the carbon fiber, custom wheel, and then you essentially would just swap him. So
Interesting.
I wanted to keep my steering wheel just in case. So I just paid him more money to keep the steering wheel. So like reimburse him for his cost on the wheel that he built.
That's honestly not a bad idea of doing things, and probably less expensive.
Oh, totally. And I mean, this steering wheel's nuts. This is for a Subaru, little WRX. So if you go to his Instagram page, it's KIRILL.Z. He's got in all of his like top favorite things at the top of his Instagram page has all of his weaves and the steering wheels he's done for certain cars. He's got like shift knobs on here. And he shot me pictures like of him in a shop. So I'm assuming that he makes them. Yeah.
Gang first glances on the product at hand, I guess. Kind of cool. Yeah. No, like the wheel in general looks freaking awesome, and he did a great job on it. So kudos to him, and kudos to you with the design idea, right? Because you just told him what you wanted and he just made it, right? With a couple of touches to it. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
I mean, it fits the car perfectly. It's unreal.
Yeah. And also, do you have red calipers on your GT4?
I do, yeah.
Yo, so it matches. Okay, cool.
I mean, everything matches. I think I might get the car wrapped at some point, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm thinking like matte white.
That would look good.
Yeah, I saw a matte white Cayman, and it looked awesome.
Yeah, especially the matte white GT3s. It's not a factory color, right? Matte white.
You could probably get it through like Porsche exclusive.
I see. So, with the matte white that you're considering on, how long is the lifespan for that wrap?
That's a good question. Let's see. Matte white car wrap. Matte white car.
Because I guess to diverge to further about what I'm talking about is as the car is being used and it's exposed to weather, it expands and it contracts, and there's a certain lifespan to every wrap, and it's sort of variant on each company because each company has different technologies like 3M and other companies. Yeah, so pretty interesting concept with expanding and retraction of materials. So
let's see here. Well, it says the average lifespan of a vehicle wrap is about 5 years.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess if I like ceramic coat the car, should be fine.
Do you think it'll expand your life further, or?
What do you mean?
I mean, if you ceramic coat it, what's the benefits of that after you're wrapping it?
I mean, it'd probably keep the paint fresh. So, I mean, it protects the paint. So,
right.
Which could be nice. I mean, if I track the car, I'd rather have a wrap get dirty than the actual car.
So with the wrap, so you don't have a wrap on it right now. I mean, like clear bra or anything on it, right?
Yeah, the car came factory with clear bra.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, most Porsches, I don't want to say most do, but I know like their high-end cars do.
It's pretty awesome. I didn't know that. And speaking of, I guess, Porsches in general, to expand further with their culture and whatever, are you a PCA member yet or deciding on it?
No, I haven't joined. I'm going to. I've got like the whole winter, so.
Yeah. I guess there's nothing going on in the winter in terms of racing events because everyone has their car in their garage and driving their Cayenne or Macan.
At least in the Midwest. I mean, I guess I could travel, but whatever.
Down south?
Yeah, head down south, but then that would require me shipping my car and more money, and I don't really feel like, shouldering that headache.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But.
So I have a question about Chicago. Because have you ever experienced Chicago public transportation? Used it often, or how is it over there?
I didn't have a car for, I don't know, 6 years in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always taking public transportation to work, to go see friends, whatever. And it's okay. Back when I was taking it, shit was late all the time. There was usually like, I had this one situation where I got on the bus at Division and God, what was it, like Division in Kingsbury or something? And a crackhead got on the bus, railed a crack pipe, and got off at the next stop. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
That's one of the disadvantages of taking public transportation. You need to share it with other people, and not many people are mentally sound, as you pointed to that example.
Yeah. So I'm like, we're in an enclosed bus, and like everybody is like looking at each other like, what the hell do we do? Like nobody
You're
wants
all
to breathe
trapped.
in because the crack smoke's in there. Yeah, shit was wild. You know, everything just smells like piss. I mean, you live in New York, right? So
Yeah, yeah. I live um I I would say yeah in Queens, but more in specifically like near Regal Park around that area.
yeah,
So
I don't even know where that is. So
well it's like it's near Long Island City. Have you ever heard of Long Island City?
no, I stay
Okay.
away from the East Coast.
Okay. Fair enough, but yeah, that type of atmosphere and that vibe that you described is sort of similar. But ever since I moved here, I haven't used my car one bit.
Yeah,
And yeah, like the company that we have out here, I'm not sure if the public transportation is run by the government or it's publicly traded or owned, or I don't even know.
yeah,
But the MTA is out here,
yeah,
and I use a what's it called again? A monthly MTA pass. So you pay I think it's 127 a month, and you have unlimited amount of um, passes for a month. So
yeah.
you can use it anytime you want without refilling up your card till the next month. And I've been using it frequently. Like for example, I was thinking of going to Dick's Sporting Goods because the season is coming up, and I was thinking of getting a gift for one of my relatives. And I was thinking of using the car, and I have my Google Maps all automatically set up to where I can use public transportation, and it can show me those routes. And I was like, oh shit, this is actually faster.
Yeah.
Because for example, if I'm going to Manhattan, for
Hmm.
example, it would take me much shorter to use the subway than if I would to use a car, because with a car you need to wait, I don't know, like fucking 50 minutes in traffic because everyone wants to go to the city, and you
Yeah.
need to find parking as well, which is another pain in the ass. But
Yeah.
with the subway, it just takes 20 minutes and you're there.
Yeah.
So it's very convenient.
Oh hell yeah. I mean, Chicago's. I feel like Chicago's a little bit more open of a city like than New York. Like New York is like shit's built on top of shit.
Yeah. No, it really is.
In Chicago, we got a lot. Like I feel like we have more space.
Hmm.
I never really have like a hard time finding parking. Usually, I don't even park on the street, so nor do I want to. I don't want to have someone screw up one of my cars.
Yeah, that's usually the scenario that I've came across as well, because when you're sharing the street with other people and when you're parking next to people, they don't have the same respect of property as you do. For example, your car. So
Yeah.
there's probably a good chance that dents or scratches or anything for that matter might show up on your car when you come back
Yeah.
shopping or whatever you're doing. I just hate fucking people.
All right. I
It's
get it.
sort of like a direct. I don't mean you know what I'm talking about. I don't mean like I hate all people. I just hate people who have that perseverance and attitude towards other people's things and have no respect for others.
Totally.
So
I mean, people can be assholes.
yeah, there are a lot of them here in New York. So
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
Here's a question for you. The shutting down NYC streets for underground racing on Vice. Who the fuck is this guy?
I have no idea. I'm not really too familiar or associate myself with that crowd because, of course, cops come and they write people up for, I don't know, loitering and amongst other things. So I'm not really associated with that crowd.
Yeah. Dude, in watching that, like the dude's racing someone else's car.
Yeah.
I'm beside myself watching that. Like, did Vice go out and find the biggest idiot they could just to I mean, I feel like it's doing a disservice to the racing community.
They probably had an agenda, to be honest with you, if you think about it, with all these videos. There has to be, you know, when they're thinking of making these videos, there has to be some type of agenda or theme associated with it, or else it'll be boring.
Totally.
So, yeah. So, I don't know what they were thinking.
I'm watching this thing, and I had to turn it off because I was like, this is not. I mean, granted, it's New York, but like in Chicago, I mean, I would hate to say like we'd beat someone's ass if they showed up and did that, but like it's pretty. Like, what are you doing? Like, go away.
Yeah, which is pretty funny. Because I think B5 Scat was telling us this on the group chat, but he said something about how the cops came to stop the meet and they had everyone's driver's license and registration. And the cops said, "Well, it looks like your driver's license and the registration's name doesn't match up with one another," meaning that they're probably using relatives or someone else's car.
Right.
Which is funny.
I didn't even get that far.
No, it's not in the video. I think it was an event that was that he went to and he was telling us about.
Yeah, it's like, bro, what are you doing? And like this beautiful Audi got stripped out. Like they took all the stuff out of it. I'm like, you're racing an Audi. Like,
yeah.
Come to Chicago. Like we race, like if we street race, there's some cars that like, you know, they'll run 12-second quarter miles, which is fast. Or you'll see like dudes on Mickey Thompson's coming out in like, you know, bead locks and they just don't care.
Yeah.
So you're watching like, you know, 9-second quarter miles happen on a street.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude's in an Audi and he's talking about how his turbos are loose, but we're just going to send it. I'm like, okay. Like
he's probably doing it for the video.
True, but like you're already doing something dangerous. Why would you put yourself in like I mean, I check my lug nuts every single time I go on the racetrack. Like you got to check your tire pressures. You got to like if something's wrong with your car, you're not only endangering yourself but others. Like you're already doing something stupid by street racing. Don't further that by, you know, doing more stupid stuff.
No, I completely agree, and I think it's, you know, at the same time being irresponsible, but also these drivers and these people that we see on the video haven't been on a closed circuit and they haven't been through proper procedures and safety training to actually know, you know, how to perceive what's good and bad on their car in terms of maintenance or anything for that matter.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, if we're going down that path, I mean, it's really, you know, street racing in itself is dangerous, but taking it even further, you have a bunch of people that are not trained properly. So when they look down on cops for pulling them over, like, yeah, you're speeding, you're doing something illegal, but I think the safety is probably a little bit higher priority. Like, if you're doing 120 miles an hour and your wheel falls off because you built like some rice rocket and, you know, you're cooking shrimp fried while you're flying down the street, you're just asking for it. Like, it's not the cop's fault you're dumb.
No, yeah, I completely agree. And at the same time, you know, if someone gets hurt or someone dies, for example, it becomes a statistic, and then crime rate or death tolls for accidents goes up, and it looks bad on the police officers or anyone that's in charge for that matter. So I think there's some safety concern, value, and thought when these officers pull over these people, but at the same time, it's each cop doesn't have the same motive. At least some of them, a very small percentage of them, because a very small percentage just want to write up tickets.
Yeah. I mean, cops are people too. So
no, yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're doing something illegal. Like, just accept the fact that you're doing something illegal, and their job is to enforce those laws that you're breaking.
Right.
Like, if you do stupid shit, you win stupid prizes.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah. So it's not their fault.
Yeah. And I think at the same time, with New York City car culture, there's a mixture of boasting and also doing stupid shit as well, as I witnessed with this video and amongst other things I've witnessed on the freeway and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the same theme in Chicago or if you guys have a little bit of flair or spice to it, but who knows?
Yeah. I mean, we do, but all of the guys that I hang out with in like the car community out here, they're all really respectful people. Like, we come from all different backgrounds, but like when the cops come through, especially Chicago cops, you know, we're waving, we're talking, like everything's fine. And we're trying not to do stupid stuff. Like, you know, people get pulled over all the time for not having a front plate. But most of the time, the cops just let us go because they're like, yeah, I wouldn't put a plate on that either. Like, that would make the car look like shit. So they just want to make sure that like your registration's all good and, you know, you're not doing something stupid.
Yeah, so that sounds pretty similar to here.
Yeah.
So,
but, you know, it is what it is. Again, I mean, you're doing illegal things, and I think as a community of car enthusiasts and possibly street racers, you know, as long as that respect's there, we've gotten kicked out of places because people are doing burnouts. Like, I would never do a burnout in a parking lot. Like, of course we're going to get kicked out, and why would I want anyone else to, you know, deal with me being an idiot? Yet some idiot in like a Honda Civic thinks it's funny to just dump his clutch and spin the tires.
It's always that one dude, man.
Yeah. Like, okay, I get it. You put a turbo on your VTEC. Like, cool, dude. Like, you just screwed us all over, and you're like the first to leave.
Watch him blow a head gasket.
I hope. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, I guess in terms of your, do you mind if we talk about what you do? Because I sort of have a couple of questions about it and see if like it's sort of similar to like what I was doing. So, with your occupation, right? You essentially design smart homes, if I'm understanding it.
Yeah. So we do like bespoke audio video systems, lighting, shades, blinds, you know, the whole nine.
All with Cat 6?
We run Cat 6 and fiber.
I see.
So our video systems right now run on fiber. Which is silly.
Yeah.
But I mean, fiber allows you to get I think it's 10 gigabits per second. Cat 6 can technically do that.
I feel like Cat 6 is more for power applications. I think in terms of my experience, Cat 6 seems to be the future in terms of automating lights and future technologies, because my brother, who's in a similar business but only deals with Cat 6, is telling me that, like, for example, with lights, they're transitioning them into low voltage lights.
Yeah.
And they're only plugging in Cat 6 into these LED bulbs. So, for example, if you're in an office and if you, I don't know, like, assign a meeting to a particular room, then that data gets transferred over to the server, and the server pretty much picks a time in correlation to what you picked with the meeting and has that light turn on when the meeting starts.
Yeah, so I mean that would go into like full on control systems. So we do that, and we carry our own line of low voltage lighting. So we can program all that stuff to happen. Those lights actually run off a PoE switch, and so those become like an addressable device. So when you go to hit the light switch, you're not actually like turning on a light switch. What you're doing is, hitting button one, sending a command back to the lighting control panel, which then is telling the light, not the PO, like the light's always powered. So it's just telling the light to turn on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty interesting in terms of the technology evolving and how everything's getting more connected, and smart offices and smart homes and all this type of stuff. I think it's sort of like a double-edged sword, because you're also playing with fire with centralizing everything into one system, if that makes sense, which someone who's hacking it.
Well, not only that, but like if you have your PoE switch die, like all the lights on a floor don't work.
Yeah, so there's that hazard. But at the same time, I'm not sure if it's expanding faster in Chicago than it is here, but they're building them at an exponential rate, and there are problems with high voltage unions sort of shutting it down or having sort of like more of a participation in this type of work because it doesn't line up with their field. So
because this is a way to skirt around them.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not based off of that motive. I think it's more of a way to produce electricity in a more efficient way, because with LEDs, they're more efficient than traditional light bulbs.
Oh yeah,
so
totally.
It's the future.
I mean, it is, and I think we have our own things with the union here, but a lot of that knowledge, especially with lighting and how much money they could make before, and now they can't because a category cable's carrying it. So they're still making it so you have to pipe everything so they still get their share. But all it really does is end up screwing like the consumer, because these lights aren't cheap. And so the lights are more expensive, and then you need an electrician, but then you also need a low voltage guy, and then the electricians want to start terminating cables, but they don't know what they're doing when it comes to like, data. So it's a shit show, and it's going to be a shit show for like the next 5 years. I mean, there's going to have to be a huge push and initiative to either onboard the electricians or when it comes down to like licensing, localities, like it gets pretty crazy. And at least for me, the only thing I want to do is make sure people get taken care of properly.
No, yeah, for sure. And I feel like at the same time, with this new technology coming into the market, that people have their own motives and want to create, licensings and laws sort of their own way. So they can sort of benefit
Yeah,
in a way. So
absolutely.
interesting how it plays out, but like with every other technology that comes into existence, it's going to be obsolete in 5 years, and they're going to figure out, I don't know, like to attach a fucking light to your head or something like that.
Yeah, everybody
So
just wears headlamps all day.
yeah, like some
This is
stupid stuff
efficient.
like that. Yeah, like I was reading up on this article. So, speaking of, to dive in further in technology with how, I don't know, in 5 years your phone will be obsolete and your smartphone will be replaced with your smartwatch, and the computing power and the processing power will be compatible with what your phone is today, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I just think user interface is a big part of that. You know,
Yeah, for
interfacing with
sure.
a watch is a bitch.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're coming up with like foldable screens and whatever, and their solution is to sort of have a screen that's foldable when you're not using it, and unfold and make it into like an average phone size screen when you're using it.
Yeah, I.
So
But like, hold your wrist to your like hold it up to where your mouth would be and where you look. Like, imagine how awkward that would be. That would suck. Like, hold on, let me
yeah,
pull up my phone. Like,
yeah, like I have an Apple smartwatch and I barely use that thing. Like it's such a fucking hassle just to have something vibrate on your wrist like 5 times a day. And I'm
dude,
like,
it's annoying, and it's just a
I
constant reminder. Like, hey, fucker.
yeah,
Like,
pretty much. And I just stopped using it after a week because it's funny how the body comes accustomed with these technologies, because I have some friends who use it religiously, and when they're not using it, they feel something vibrate over their wrist, because it's sort of like a mind game to a
yeah,
certain
totally.
extent. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Well, I've been looking at Rolexes just because I want to get a nice watch. Because I realized, like, no, I'm not going to buy the new Apple Watch. The only thing I use my Apple Watch for, and I wear it like, granted, I wear it daily, but the only thing I use it for is to A, tell the time, which go
Hmm.
figure, a fucking watch tells the time. And
Yeah.
like trying to have a conversation on it, you look like an idiot. If you have your AirPods in, like half the time they don't work, or it's like it's connected to something else. And then I guess directions are kind of cool because it vibrates if you use Apple Maps, but I use Waze, so I can't even use it.
Which is Google.
Yeah. So
So they're not
I
going
don't
to
know.
fuck with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't need to, you know, be let known that one of my clients is texting me because it just adds more stress. It's like, okay, so I use it for working out and I use it for the time. Like that's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and like I don't care if my heart's about to explode. Like that's fine. My watch doesn't need to let me know that. Like trust me, I can feel my heart's about to explode.
Yeah, like what you described before with using it to make phone calls and you look like a fucking idiot. Like I see some people using it and they look like, I don't know, some covert Jason Bourne type person or whatever, where they're like using secret technology just to talk to someone, unlike the normal way of using your phone.
Right?
So yeah, like with technology in general, I'll go as far as saying I'm not going to implant a fucking chip into my skin or like anything for that matter.
God
I
no.
think that's where you draw the line with, I don't know, with wearable technology, because I don't want something with capacitors, resistors, and circuit boards inside of me. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Right?
But yet again, I feel like we already have technology that has that type of capacity where you can inject stuff into yourself and it spits out some type of data. Who knows?
Shit, we're already doing that to dogs.
Yeah, no.
Sure, just inject this, chip into Scruffy and we'll be able to get all of his data.
Yeah, which
No
data's like a huge thing too in terms of big data.
Mm-hmm. It's a $1 billion industry.
Yeah, like for example, I work for a company that partners with Mobileye, which is a
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so
But talk about it.
Yeah, so Intel recently bought them. Not recently, like two years ago and whatever. And their technology is sort of at a stagnant standstill. And me and other coworkers are assuming the reason why Intel bought them was for their data.
Yeah.
So because the company that I work for, our technology is progressing while theirs is just not as compatible as it has to be with ours. It's because of, I think it's because of Intel just having their own interests in mind and just having the data for this company that they acquired for some reason and no one knows. So these days, data's king, and I think someone said a while ago that it's more valuable than gold these days because you can actually predict what people can do.
Oh yeah.
So it's pretty fucking scary.
Yeah. I mean, it's habits and patterns, man. Like, yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, with artificial intelligence and predicting people's behaviors, I think it's going to be a toll for disaster if like this technology is not used the right way. So
absolutely. And who's in charge of that? Oh, the government is. Great. Because we trust them.
Well, I think it's the government to a certain extent, but I think most importantly, it's people that want your money.
Yeah.
Companies.
Well, they want to make money off of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think what we should do, we should probably have a further conversation either after, in between Christmas and the New Year, or the New Year, and we should get STL Speed on here and listen to him. Because, man, we could have a long conversation about that.
Dude, it'll be fucking 4 hours, this fucking podcast. If we have
that's fine. Just send it.
Yeah, why not?
But, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up for tonight. Got to get to bed. But, yeah, it's only 8:30. Jeez. Anyways, but, yeah, thanks for the talk, and we'll get back on here and have our conspiracy conversation soon.
Awesome, man. Thanks for the call.
All right, later. Bye.
All right, later.
So that was the podcast. We're going to keep doing this. There's probably only 10 people listening, but that's fine. So see you soon.